Listen, let me start by telling you something fundamental about fear and anxiety. These aren't just arbitrary feelings that invade your life like unwanted guests. No, they're signals deeply rooted in your biology, whispering truths about your existence and the challenges you face. Fear and anxiety are not your enemies. They're ancient companions designed to protect you, to alert you to potential threats, and to prepare you for action. But here's the thing. If you let them dominate you, if you let them dictate your every move, they'll turn your life into a prison. And that, my friends, is no way to live. You see, fear arises when you confront the unknown, and anxiety is what happens when the unknown threatens to overwhelm you. But let's not demonize these feelings. Imagine our ancestors out on the savannah, surrounded by predators. Fear and anxiety kept them alive. They're part of the reason you're even here today. But in our modern world, where the threats are often psychological rather than physical, these feelings can spiral out of control. They can paralyze you, make you hesitant, and keep you from pursuing the very things that would bring you fulfillment and meaning. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly confronted what you're afraid of? I don't mean the superficial fears like a spider in the corner or the idea of public speaking. I'm talking about the deep fears, the ones that gnaw at your soul. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being inadequate. These are the fears that build walls around you. They're the ones that shrink your world until it's so small you can hardly breathe. The first thing you need to understand is that fear and anxiety thrive in the shadows. They're like cockroaches. They scatter when you shine a light on them. So how do you shine that light? You start by defining the source of your fear. Be specific. Don't just say, I'm afraid of failure. Ask yourself, what does failure look like to me? What does it mean? What's the worst case scenario? The more you define it, the less power it has over you. It becomes something you can confront rather than an amorphous monster lurking in the dark. But defining it is just the beginning. Once you've identified your fear, you have to face it. And this is where courage comes into play. But let's not romanticize courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Think about that for a moment. If you wait for the fear to disappear before you act, you'll be waiting forever. The only way to diminish fear is to confront it, to step into it, to wrestle with it. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I fail? And my answer to that is, so what? Failure is not the end, it's a teacher. Every time you fail, you learn something valuable about yourself and the world. And let me tell you, the people who succeed in life are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who fail repeatedly and use those failures as stepping stones to growth. So don't fear failure. Fear stagnation. Fear mediocrity. Fear a life unlived. Anxiety, on the other hand, is a bit trickier because it's often diffuse and undefined. It's that nagging feeling in your chest, that sense of dread that you can't quite put your finger on. To beat anxiety, you have to impose order on the chaos. Anxiety thrives in chaos. It's your mind's way of responding to a world that feels unpredictable and uncontrollable. So, take control, start small. Clean your room, organize your schedule, set clear goals. It sounds simple, even trivial, but these small acts of order ripple outward. They create a foundation of stability from which you can tackle bigger challenges. And let's not forget the importance of competence. The more competent you are, the less anxious you'll feel. Why? Because competence breeds confidence. When you know you can handle a situation, it loses its power to intimidate you. So, invest in yourself, learn new skills, improve your existing ones, and take pride in your progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, reduces the grip of anxiety. But here's the hard truth. You can't do any of this if you're not willing to take responsibility for your life. Fear and anxiety often stem from a sense of helplessness, from the belief that you're at the mercy of forces beyond your control, but you're not. You have agency. You have the power to act, to change, to grow. And with that power comes responsibility. Responsibility to yourself, to your loved ones, and to the world. Take that responsibility seriously. Own it. Because the moment you do, you'll find that fear and anxiety begin to lose their hold on you. Now, let's talk about the role of meaning. One of the most effective ways to beat fear and anxiety is to pursue something meaningful. When your life is filled with meaning, fear takes a back seat. Why? Because meaning gives you a reason to endure. It gives you a reason to face your fears and push through your anxieties. So ask yourself, what's meaningful to me? What do I value? What am I willing to struggle for? And once you've answered those questions, dedicate yourself to those pursuits. Let them guide you, motivate you, and give you the strength to face whatever comes your way. Another thing to consider is the role of your social connections. Fear and anxiety often isolate us. They make us feel alone, cut off from the world. But you're not alone. You're part of a community, a network of people who care about you and want to see you succeed. Lean on them. Share your fears and anxieties with them. You'll be surprised at how much lighter your burden feels when it's shared. And don't just take, give as well. Support others in their struggles. The act of helping others not only strengthens your connections, but also gives you a sense of purpose and resilience. Let's not forget the importance of your physical health. Fear and anxiety aren't just psychological phenomena. They're deeply connected to your body. If you're not sleeping well, eating right, or exercising regularly, you're giving fear and anxiety an open invitation to take over. So take care of your body. Treat it with respect. Exercise, not just for your physical health, but for your mental health as well. Studies have shown that physical activity reduces anxiety and boosts mood. So, get moving. Even a short walk can make a difference. And finally, let's talk about faith. Not necessarily in a religious sense, but faith in the broader sense of trust and belief. Faith that you can overcome your challenges. Faith that life has meaning, even in its darkest moments. Faith that you have the strength to endure and the capacity to grow. Fear and anxiety often stem from a lack of faith, from the belief that the world is too chaotic, too unpredictable, and too harsh to navigate. But that's not true. The world is chaotic, yes, but it's also filled with beauty, order, and opportunity. Focus on those. Build your faith, and let it be your anchor in the storm. But let's dig deeper into the essence of fear itself. Fear is fundamentally tied to the concept of vulnerability. When you're afraid, you feel exposed, unprotected, and that's a terrifying sensation. But vulnerability isn't inherently negative. In fact, it's the price of admission for a meaningful life. When you open yourself up to the world, you open yourself up to both joy and pain. You risk failure, but you also create the possibility of success. You risk rejection, but you also create the possibility of connection. Vulnerability is what makes us human, and it's what makes life worth living. So embrace your vulnerability. Don't hide from it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Acknowledge it, accept it, and use it as a source of strength. Because when you do, you'll find that fear begins to lose its grip on you. You'll realize that the things you were so afraid of, failure, rejection, inadequacy, are not the end of the world. They're part of the process of growth, part of the process of becoming who you're meant to be. And let's talk about perspective. Fear and anxiety have a way of distorting reality. They make problems seem bigger than they are. They make challenges seem insurmountable. But perspective is a powerful tool. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, you often realize that the things you're so afraid of are not as significant as they seem. So cultivate perspective. Take a moment to breathe, to reflect, to remind yourself of what truly matters. And remember, most of the things you're anxious about won't matter a year from now or even a month from now. Another key to overcoming fear and anxiety is to cultivate resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to endure hardship, and to keep moving forward. And resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop through experience. Every time you face a challenge and overcome it, you become more resilient. So don't shy away from challenges, embrace them. See them as opportunities to grow, to strengthen your character, and to build your resilience. And don't underestimate the power of gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. It reminds you of the good things in your life, the things worth fighting for. And when you're grateful, fear and anxiety lose their hold on you. So, make gratitude a daily practice. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. Write it down if you need to. Let it be a source of strength and inspiration. Lastly, remember that you're not alone in this journey. Fear and anxiety are universal experiences. Everyone at some point has faced them, and many have overcome them. You can too. So take heart, have courage, and take the first step, because the only way to beat fear and anxiety is to face them head on, to confront them with courage, and to keep moving forward. And in doing so, you'll discover a strength within yourself that you never knew you had.